everyone, welcome back to part 3 of my Timberborn series. We have ended the drought in the last episode after, well, I think it was already the second drought, and the water has come back now, which is already flowing through. We have one of the water pumpers back up and running, and overall things are looking, well, pretty good, I want to say. We do have staircases in here. Right now we're trying to block this part off for when the bad tide hits, just in the hopes that this will be enough to protect us, but I think we should be fine, as the bad water, if it actually ends up piling up over here, will be able to flow over this direction and then dissipate off into the distance. So we still have one of our lumberjacks over here, and he's basically chopping down the last big tree that's left over here. So this is something that we will need to consider. But most importantly, I think we need to consider increasing our population. We do have quite a few of the buildings currently on pause, and also have just 2 of our workers in here for building things. So let's get this started. Let's put one more breeding pod in here, which should give us enough, beaver supply to sort of tackle our next few challenges. Now these 2 lumberjacks are also almost done with chopping all of this down, so what we're going to do next is, well, we could put a lumberjack back here to cut down these, and maybe up here. But maybe we'll just go all the way over there, since we don't have to build anything to chop these down. And I think I'm just gonna do that with 2 lumberjacks over here and mark all of these trees in this area to be cut down. We won't get to all of them, as you can see, but the majority of them will be able to reach, and that will give us a steady wood supply. So he's done now, and basically bored, just sat on his behind. So we're gonna pause him, giving us one more worker until these 2 are actually done. And most importantly, we are going to high prioritize these, because we will need the wood supply moving forward. In our industrial lumber mill, we still have our beavers working on the planks, and in order to shorten sort of the distance they need to travel to actually get there, I'm going to put a staircase over here, as well as a path to connect this. I'm also going to set this on the highest priority. While this will ultimately, this is ultimately not necessary, it will actually reduce the amount of work that we need to do. Not the amount of work, the amount of distance that we need to walk in order to basically get to our planks. So with this, we also need to now reconsider activating our berry gatherer, as we're getting pretty low. I'm so glad I didn't forget about this. So all in all is good. And we do have a few more building projects going on. Now, our lumberjacks are not built yet, so I'm going to speed all of this up, and we missed that animation, unfortunately, but that went pretty well. Here. I do love the hammers that it had, and when this guy went immediately from being a builder to being a lumberjack. But one thing to consider is now with 4 open jobs, we actually have no one doing any construction. So we're going to pause, I think actually both of these guys here, while our forester is still planting the rest of the trees. And once we have a few more beavers, we will actually resume at least one of these to get us going again with the lumber production on this side. So they have not built in the stairs yet. What is missing is currently the planks. We do have plenty of planks here, 13 currently in this stock, which will be good enough for a while. But let's see. Okay, good. One more drought is approaching, so we probably have at least one more drought and regular season or water season before the bad tide hits. They are now building up these, which will be great, because if we get these up and running, by the time the drought hits, we will actually have stored more water up here and we'll be in a much better shape. So planks are almost all in. Logs, they're working on this right now. Let me actually high prioritize this. We need to get this done ASAP. And considering we only have 2 construction workers, they will need all the time they can get. So once this is in, we're going to semi-prioritize this, as we will then have solved our water storage problem. Although, actually, now that I think about it, the water might actually be just flowing out over there. So while we might not save additional water, I think the priority of things... Actually, let's put this on normal priority again. And for now, we're going to pause 2 of our inventors to maximize the number of builders that we have. So we definitely get this done, because we will still be able to store a little bit more water over there. And once they're done with this, they can immediately, what they're already doing, start to put in the resources into these 2 gates. So this is in now. We're starting to store more and more water behind it, which is great. And they are working with highest speed on getting these double floodgates in. In all honesty, I don't think we're going to manage in 1.4 days. Give it a bit more of a chance by increasing the work hours again to 20 hours. But I'd prefer my beavers having a good night's rest. Sometimes you just have to hustle. And, you know, working in academia, this is what we have to do all the time, especially when deadlines come. And what better deadline than a drought where your entire colony might die because they don't get enough to drink. So we're waiting right now for them to finish up these pieces, but let's in the meantime plan a little bit more. So food supply overall pretty good, and we should be fine surviving not only the drought but also the bad tide. We will work on the well-being of our beavers, especially once we have sort of this shrub in. Then we can also work on researching some of the other well-being aspects, just to make sure our beavers live a little bit longer. Now, we don't need these 2, since we've kind of cut off the water supply. We do definitely have enough planks. Actually, I don't know if we have enough planks. Let me unpause this again, and let's double check if they have already put in all the planks that they need. Nope, they have not. We need 10 planks. We had 4 in storage, now we have 0 in storage, but they are producing again. But ultimately we will not finish the second gate before the drought hits, as it is doing right now. However, it will take a while for the water to flow back out of here. It seems to actually be going a little bit faster than I expected. And obviously they are not working anymore on the planks, so let's let more water flow through there. We are wasting a little bit of water, but we do need the planks if we want to get this part here sorted. And ultimately we won't be able to, so now that this is over, I'm going to pause these 2 and put 1 back in our lumberjack flags over here. Now, we also want to consider storing a little bit more water here so that our trees will actually get enough water. So I'm going to plan this for now, putting in a staircase and then the path over here. Also, one thing that we need to consider, when there's not a drought, the bad tide very likely will actually flood in this direction. And we do not want that. We definitely do not want that. So let's plan a couple of levees. Maybe just from here onwards. Let's put this in like that, and then 2 pieces for a dam. That should be enough to have our little area here protected and our trees not die off. But we'll see. So now we have 1 person that is currently unemployed. Let's put a inventor hub back on. You can never have enough science. Again, might be a little bit biased with that, but overall, I think that's okay. So, still marking these 2 for being chopped down, and actually our beavers are already doing this. We also have our shrub in here. So let's look in the meantime what else we can put in there. The lantern would be nice. However, one thing to consider, it will take up 4 planks and we will need to wait for this to actually happen. So let's keep planning for the future. One thing that we will definitely need ultimately is more power supply. So we're gonna put another compact water wheel over here. And in addition to that, we will need to consider putting in a gear workshop. We will need gears in the long run anyways. While they're not 100% urgent right now, we could place it, but it does actually need, as you just saw, it does actually need some planks, and we don't have planks available at the moment. So instead, we're going to put another storage facility over here, where we're going to store logs, so that these lumberjacks, once we have this entire area up and running, so they don't need to walk all the way over here to put the logs in. So having done all of that, we're also going to make sure we're planting another oak in this area. And other than that, let's actually look through what else we need to consider building. So all of these, well, none of these, to be honest, we really urgently need right now. We do have enough storage at the moment. We could put another builder center down or hauling post down just to speed up the productivity of our beavers, but right now we don't have the additional workforce to actually make this happen. So in here we've built everything that we need right now. We still have 4 empty beds, which is great. And we just finished the next breeding pod, which is also excellent. So in addition to those, maybe it's actually worthwhile putting in a small warehouse. Let's not put in a small warehouse. Let's put in a regular size warehouse to actually store excess berries. I'm going to put it in this corner here, just to give me one more space for a breeding pod in this area. I will actually reduce the working hours again to 16. Some of our beavers are thirsty and hungry, and this is only because they've worked so long. So again, not too worried about this. Still, water supply seems to be all right. They are building this right now, which is also great, and we do have the space here now for the storage facility, which we're already setting to berries. If I can find the berries are here. And we're slowly gonna start to fill this up with our gatherer flag, just to make sure we have a constant supply of beavers that, we will need. One thing to consider in the long run, we do want to improve our food supply. So we could plant a few more, let's say, cassavas. Cassavas need to be fermented. So one thing that to consider is actually creating like a fermentation station in this area. And I think I'm actually going to plan this right now. Fermentation or fermenters actually need power. So what we are going to do, we don't need this path anymore. So we're going to delete this path. And we're going to add another power wheel on this side, as well as a fermentation station or fermenter, but we are pausing the fermenter for now because we don't have any water flow, which means we don't have any power, so no real need for us to build this immediately. I have unpaused this farmhouse just so I can put down a little bit more of the cassavas. We are actually going to plant them right now, so we can start harvesting them as well. And overall, I think I'm going to use this space here to expand the cassavas area. I think in the long run, it might be worthwhile to move the berry production from here to somewhere else. We're actually creating a really good amount of berries here, which means our berry gatherer was just sat around doing nothing, which is because our beavers like to eat their kohlrabies. And now with also a third farmer in there, I think we'll definitely be good in terms of food supply. So let's see. Now all of this is done. Again, we need more planks over here, only 5 more though, so overall that's not too bad. And I think we need to start planning a bit more in terms of future buildings, future constructions that we need to do. So we're going to put a little staircase in here. We're going to run this down there just so we can create an area for gathering scrap metals and metal production here, which ultimately will lead us to be able to create or put these into our dams, and then our floodgates will actually become irrelevant. And I'm very excited for that, as once our floodgates are unimportant, basically our water supply should hopefully be okay. Famous last words, as we always like to say. So in addition, we need to consider putting a bit more water storage in. Like I mentioned last time, I was debating on creating a little area here to holding the water back. No, I'm not so sure anymore. So what alternatives do we have? So first of all, this little area here will most likely just supply water for our trees. We are running a little bit low on the water in our reservoir, which is not too great, but we do have more water stored here, so we will be fine. But ultimately it's something that we need to consider to expand in the long run. I think I will actually highlight all of these to be marked for cutting down. And you know what, let's put the storage area, the water storage area in here after all. So we're going to remove all of these as well, and all the berry bushes on this side. Drought has ended. Excellent, our water will be stocked up. I will unpause this now. We also had like one beaver that was doing nothing, which, not great. But if I unpause this and actually lower this, we will get a little bit of energy production. It led to nothing. Actually, with the backwash, and I really like that you can see sort of the water rushing out, then bouncing back off our dam and then coming back in. So just to speed this up, I'm going to lower this. And I'll make sure that I put this on the highest priority. We definitely need to sort this out, as I'm pretty sure the next time that a drought, in quotation mark, hits us, it'll actually be a bad tide. And at that point, we are pretty screwed if that area up there is not sorted. So in the meantime, let's focus on our levees. We're going to put them in here and actually just dam all of this up until there, with more area in here. And I'm going to place it just like that to keep some of the water back. Put 2 more of these in here, and one thing that we will need to do, as they can't seem to reach that area over there, we're going to put in a temporary path here, which hopefully should cover all of these. So now our beavers are putting the planks in there, only 3 more left, so I think we're definitely, well, again, famous last words, we should be good for the bad tide to hit us, which is great. So I think we should be alright. Now they have already cut down all of these bushes, so in addition we're going to put cassavas in here, just all the way to the front. That farmhouse will definitely reach, and I think this will be enough cassavas for now to actually get an initial supply and make our beavers even happier. So maybe we will start using this area here for our food storage, but I think it would be much nicer to remove that log storage here and keep that area for decorations. So having said all that, once the floodgate is actually in, so we are going to high prioritize this. Like I mentioned before, I'm a bit worried that once the bad tide hits and no water is coming out this way, it will actually flow into this direction from our bad water source up here. So we're trying to avoid this. This up here, by the way, will be a very a great way to actually generate continuous power supply once we put some water wheels up here. And like I said before, I think we're gonna try to expand it in this direction again and make it flow all the way and sort of get dumped over here. But this is definitely future work. So let's see where we're at. Our lumberjack here still has enough to do. Some of those trees are growing. We can start populating this area here with more oak trees. We should also remove this whenever they have time to do this. Put another tree down there. But otherwise, this area I think is pretty self-sufficient. Our plank production is going okay. We do have 30 planks already, so our storage will be running out soon. And maybe we should consider putting a larger plank storage in there. We will always need planks, so that might actually not be a bad idea. And you know what, I'm just gonna do that. So, but not over here, I'm going to place it here. This is a little bit of an area here that we might place some pine trees down for the resin collection later on. In the meantime, like I said, I'm going to put that here. And once they are done with this dam over here, I think we should be good to go. So now, while we don't need to... Oh, it's actually another drought, so we're actually definitely okay. One thing that we should really do, though, is increase that to almost the highest level. We can't do that all the way to that, because these are just dam pieces, right? So they will overtop and our water won't go down here. So we'll just put it at 145, which means the water should not flow out here, but overall be okay to flow out down there. We're also going to put this actually on 0.5. And this would have been our height if we would have put in dam pieces, and like I guessed, our dam pieces would have actually just let liquid or any liquid in, which means once the bad tide hits, all of this would have been well, bad tide or bad water, which would have basically killed our entire beaver civilization. Not great. But we managed, so that's good. Let's actually unpause the fermenter as well. Some of the casselas are already growing, and they've actually picked already quite a few of them. I think what we're going to do also in the long run is actually remove definitely this one, so we can get one storage here, and then make enough space for a secondary storage here, just to store our fermented goods once our fermenters are in. You might be wondering why I placed it like this. So fermenters need power. The power is shared for this side of the building as well as this side, which means we can put another fermenter over here and over here, getting us probably the highest fermenter depth or density that we could possibly hope for. So almost done with this. Everybody is falling asleep right now, and you know, fair enough. Once the drought starts, I might keep this a short video, so no, actually, let me play till the end of the drought. And then end the video, waiting for the next episode. So this guy now is just bored. We do have one unemployed beaver, so we actually don't need to unpause or pause him to have him do anything else. But actually, I am going to pause him from here and gonna have him start over here just to clean up the remnants of the trees over there. So they're also building this wooden staircase, which is great, which means we can also consider putting in our supply or metal supply over here. In order to make the most use of this, we're actually first putting in a lumberjack, marking all of those trees to be chopped down, make good use of that, and then once there's a bit more space, we will put in a scrap metal gatherer flag just over here and a smelter over here, which then should produce our required metal supply. So all in all, it's good. The drought hit. we are okay over here. So we definitely have some storage in this area now. Now we do not have electricity here, so we can pause all of this. And now we have way too many unemployed beavers. So I'll put one into the science hut. And now, it's probably a little bit too late, we are actually putting in a hauling post. Hauling posts are actually quite effective because those beavers in there can carry twice as many things as any other worker. So technically you're improving the efficiency of your colony by putting them in, but it is a little bit hard to keep sort of the balance of this in terms of like worker supply. What I usually like to do, put it on the lowest priority, put this to the max, put this one now on the second lowest priority, and just get comfortable with having 10 vacancies in your beaver settlement. Overall, it's not a bad thing, so I think it should be fine. One thing that I didn't notice is they actually finished putting in the lantern. So our beavers are actually now with a happiness level of 8. More are actually now with wet fur, which is great. I think that's because some of the workers will be up north. But overall, I think our beavers are doing pretty okay. So what do we need to think of next? I think one thing to consider is actually starting to build platforms, building up. We do want to build up just, well, because it's more fun that way. So we're going to put or work on getting our rooftop terraces in. So in order for that, we need access to greater heights. And one way of doing this, if we actually look at our rooftop terrace. So I always think they work on these buildings pretty well. I'm gonna put one in here, maybe make this entire middle piece or leave that open for just, well, rooftops, not the terraces. But if we put this here, we can put a 2-story platform on top of the trees. Not entirely sure how this works in terms of sunlight for the trees, but you know, don't question it too much. And then we need to put in our staircase. So I have removed this area here. We could try to build it up there, but then we would need to put a 1-floor platform here, and then we can't actually access this area here. So instead, we're actually going to walk the other way and put 1-level staircases here like that. One more here like that, and then put not a 3-level, a 2-level, two 2-level staircases here, platforms here. So this way we will get easy access. They're all on top of pathways, which gives us enough space here to leave that up for the future to build more things. Now we don't need this platform right away, so we're just building this, and once this is done, the rooftop terrace is in, our beavers will be even happier than before. Still have 1 unemployed beaver, so let's see if we can actually prioritize this construction. Currently I'm actually not entirely sure what they are working on anymore, but it might just be... no, actually I have no idea. So probably something that I set up and forgot about, which, you know, fair enough. We do have plenty of berries now in storage. Our kohlrabies are a little bit low. So, but we do have 4 farmers in there. The amount of beavers in our colony has grown, so we will also need to consider unpausing this. And we're actually going to do this, which means I'm actually going to put this on normal priority again. And this is what they've actually been building. They've been working on this little holding area for additional water. So, well, we store additional water. This way we can we can get more water out of this without touching the area back here, allowing us to regulate the flow a little bit better. And I think that will be great overall. So one thing that we need to keep an eye on as they are pumping, we still have 4.5 days, but we can't let this area completely dry out because then our harvest will completely die off, and that would not be great because then our beavers will die. Well, not die immediately. Like I said, we do have a decent amount of food left right now, but let me prioritize this. While it's not completely necessary to remove all of these, I do prefer a cleaner look for our water storage, and in reality, if you were to have some water holding area, you would not want like rotting berry bushes underneath, because ultimately poisons the water, at least likely. And then you have a whole other set of problems. What I would love to see in Timberborn in general would actually be to include a doctor, because I think that would be kind of fun. Like, let's say they get the flu, although I actually don't know if beavers get the flu. There must be some natural diseases that they should get, so adding a doctor in there could actually be quite a cool mechanic actually to be working with. So I know the other faction, so not the Iron Teeth, but the Forktails. Yeah, I think that's it. They actually have a doctor, but this is more for when your beavers are poisoned through the bad tide. So let's hope that actually won't happen to us. But other than that, that doctor actually doesn't serve a lot of purpose. And in the past when I've played it, I actually never had to worry about the bad tide, because once you've like blocked off or like redirected the bad tide, you're actually pretty okay, and your beaver shouldn't actually get sick. So this guy, currently nothing to do. Now we have 3 unemployed beavers. Let's high prioritize this again. Why are you thirsty and hungry? The working hours should be all okay. One thing we do have though is 3 homeless beavers, so let's, once this is done, let's also, like the hauling post is done, let's put in another house in here, and obviously connect it with a path, just like that, and here we go. We will consider putting another staircase just like this over here on this side, just to shorten the paths, but for now we don't need to. So hauling post is done. We have now 3 beavers on hauling duty, which again is great. We still have a lot of planks left actually. Didn't quite expect that, but overall not too bad. So one thing that we might want to consider as we want to build more quickly, we should probably put in another post for builders. It only costs 100 science. We do have 440, so let's actually just do it just across from our hauling post. And once this is done, we will revisit our priorities, depending on if we're heavy now on building or if we're heavier on just, schlepping things around. So this is going okay. This piece is actually going pretty fast. So for now, maybe we'll actually prioritize this, because right now I think I would prefer having more builders getting all of the stuff built much faster, rather than having things carried around much more. So 1 day left. This part in the back here completely dried out, which makes me think we're not in a good position in the long run, or when the droughts become much longer. So even with this part here, I don't think it will actually be enough to get it fully sorted for us. Anyways, as they are finishing now this builder's hut, once this is done, we're going to end the episode. And next time we will definitely, well, first of all, we will see if our measures against the bad tide were successful. And then we will focus more on if we can actually increase our storage capacity for water, just to make it a little bit easier on our beaver. Maybe we'll put a little back area here for water retention, which also will help us put more green area around our trees, store more of the green area around our trees. But overall, we will see. And with the drought about to end and more food storage coming in, or more food being stored, still good on food, still good on water. So overall, we're not doing too bad. But with that, thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time.